Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Race for Vets. Hope you're all doing well out there. I got two special videos today. One's going to be a short one, and I have the link in my description. All you have to do is go to my link that I give you, and you can go right to it. You will find out a lot more about this. It's about child trafficking that our government knows about what's going on. In fact, they have camps in America of children trafficking. I know I was kind of amazed when I heard it myself, but it's true. So I'll just play a little short video on that one. The other one should get you mad because in October you got a big surprise coming. This is done by design. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to let it play, and then I'll go from there. This really should upset you. I mean, this is pathetic. What's going on with us? And again, I told you, if you trust government, shame on you, because it's going to happen to you. You're not going to have nothing. You'll soon find out. Let's get this thing going here. Bear with me, and we'll start this.
The largest trafficker of children in the world. Children that are illegally kidnapped, brought across the U.S.-Mexico border, are then sold off to mostly wealthy Americans, used as sex slaves, and worse, if you can imagine, worse than that. It's happening, and the corporate media, of course, is largely ignoring the story for whatever reason. They refuse to touch the story, and when they do, they briefly touch it, and then it disappears. You can't find links on their website. It vanishes very mysteriously when they cover these stories. Many of these kids, these children, are kept in hidden concentration camps in the United States. Yes, I said it. Hidden concentration camps in the United States. We showed you one of these facilities a few months ago here on Redacted, a Walmart facility, a former Walmart facility in Brownsville, Texas, that is holding hundreds, if not thousands, of children before they are sold off. A whistleblower who worked at one of these facilities, MVM is the name of the facility, has come forward to expose all of this. Carlos Arellano is a former U.S. immigration contractor, and
World's biggest credit card issuers, Visa and MasterCard, are warning about an impending credit card crisis. And consumers should be on high alert because fee hikes will start being introduced over the next 30 days. Both payment technology companies said they also intend to raise credit card fees paid by merchants every time they accept credit card purchases from their customers. A report published by the Wall Street Journal revealed that the fee increase will occur in October, right ahead of the hottest shopping season of the year. The timing of Visa and MasterCard's decision is certainly going to impact the buying plans of many U.S. households during the holidays. And if you're planning to shop for gifts online, beware, because about half of the increases are related to online purchases. At the same time, CMSPI, a consulting firm, exposed that the new fee structure will likely cost retailers an extra $502 million per year. While more than half of that amount will likely come from network charges, interchange fees, commonly known as swipe fees, will provide the rest, the firm explained. Moreover, the network charges will go to the card companies, and the swipe fees will be received by the banks. Experts with the Journal predict that a significant portion of the credit card fee hikes faced by retailers will likely be passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. In 2022, U.S. retailers paid nearly $94 billion to Visa and MasterCard in credit card fees. This figure almost tripled over the past decade, up from $33 billion in 2012. For their part, retailers are already reporting rising delinquency rates among their customers who have private label store cards. In the second quarter, Macy's, Kohl's, and Nordstrom cited the jump in delinquency rates as part of their reason behind weaker than expected financial results. Macy's CEO Adrian Mitchell admitted that the store's card delinquency rates were rising faster than planned. Today, there are 70 million more credit card accounts open than before the pandemic in 2019. Shoppers have become increasingly reliant on credit to cover basic expenses since that period. And the rapid expansion of e-commerce and digital transactions during the pandemic will help Visa and MasterCard rake in more revenues from these fee hikes in the coming months. The credit card issuers argue that the higher fees will be utilized to offset the cost of fraud prevention and improve security and innovation. On top of that, a share of the money will help fund credit card rewards programs. Although the fee increases can result in higher revenues for both companies, they can also have a detrimental impact on businesses big and small that are dealing with soaring operational costs and tighter credit conditions. With economic activity stalling, the mega corporations could also support the U.S. consumer by holding off these hikes to a moment when inflationary pressures were easing. People's purchasing power is still being squeezed by the rising cost of everyday necessities, and this action will only aggravate their financial woes. As companies, Visa and MasterCard have the right to take steps to boost their profits, especially as they prepare for difficult times ahead. However, all of this comes at a very bad time for Americans who have seen the cost of living in America shoot up in the past 3 years. In fact, in August, the number of Americans rolling their credit card debt from month to month became higher than the portion who pay their bill in full for the first time since this data started being tracked, and that's according to a new survey by J.D. Power. The global data and analytics firm found that 51% of credit card holders in the United States can't pay off their entire balance each month. They're letting it revolve to the next month, accruing interest and increasing their debt load. The survey's results were quite concerning, considering that from 2018 to 2022, the percentage of those rolling over balances was about 40%. What we've not seen in the past is that there are more revolvers than transactors, John Cabell, Managing Director of Payments Intelligence at J.D. Power, said during an interview with Yahoo Finance. Cabell highlighted that the decision to revolve balances may be the only alternative for many folks as the elevated cost of food, housing, and energy continues to eat into their budgets. The survey also revealed that of those who were classified as financially unhealthy, 69% rolled their balances over from one month to the next. Researchers measured financial health by analyzing consumers' spending to savings ratio, credit worthiness, and safety net items like insurance coverage. Right now, shoppers are using their cards for a lot of everyday purchases. Grocery shopping is the top purchase type that consumers say they're making with their credit cards, the executive noted. Cabell also pointed to dwindling saving rates and soaring interest rates as the causes of financial hardship among credit card holders. They are making it harder to pay off that balance because it's getting bigger, he said. Now, this is happening at a period when credit card interest rates are at 40-year highs. In the past few years, Americans have racked up a record high amount of credit card debt, according to data released by the Federal Reserve. In quarter two, U.S. consumers have piled on $1 trillion. Federal Reserve. In quarter two, U.S. consumers have piled on $1 trillion in credit card debt. A quarterly report from TransUnion showed that from April to June, the average credit card balance rose by 20% to $5,947, compared to the same period a year ago. That makes it the highest level in 10 years. Even more worrying, the percentage of accounts past due by one cycle increased 42.6% over the last couple of years, and that is at the highest point since September 2017. Overall, credit card delinquency rates have risen by 3.8%, according to credit agency Equifax. However, for subprime borrowers, delinquency rates are nearing 9%. The agency reported that borrowers with a Vantage score between 300 and 600 across these four cohorts experienced an 8.9% delinquency rate, meaning that they are 30 to 60 days behind on their payments. We've seen a huge increase in credit card delinquencies, said Balbinder Singh Gill, assistant professor of finance at the Stevens Institute of Technology School of Business in Hoboken, New Jersey. In the U.S., we only seem to fix things when there's a crisis. I'm very worried about delinquencies, especially as these are impacting households with low wages. The professor says that with a 24% annual percentage rate on credit cards, becoming delinquent on credit card debt could push millions of low-income families into bankruptcy. It's a very dangerous situation currently, especially for low-wage workers, Gill stressed. The APR is at the highest level since at least 1985. To make matters worse, consumers could face late payment fees of up to $35 per month if they default on their payments, and an APR of up to 30%. Additionally, tapped-out Americans already grappling with high rents and grocery prices will have to start making student loan payments next month after their debts were put on hold back in 2020. Economists are concerned that the end of the student loan pause will make young Americans even more dependent on credit cards. If the situation sounds familiar, it's because we've seen this before. Juan M. Sanchez, an economist at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, argues that the credit card crisis has a sense of déjà vu. An analysis of credit card borrowers across all credit scores showed that younger borrowers are more likely to be behind on their credit card bills. Higher unemployment rates and shorter credit histories among this cohort make people more at risk of delinquency and default. Official data released by the Fed confirms that current delinquency rates for younger people are near where they averaged in the 2007-2009 global financial crisis. For Wells Fargo, all those delinquencies are a harbinger of economic troubles ahead. Defaulting consumers raise the pressure on small and medium-sized banks that are already in peril amid a series of bank failures that started earlier this year. That's why the credit card crisis could have an even wider impact. The bank recently predicted that a historic downturn is about to hit several industries this fall and winter because shoppers are exhausting their credit. Believe it or not, the pain felt by Americans is a positive sign for Fed policymakers as they seek to tame inflation by reducing consumption with their so-called soft landing strategy. The Fed might look at this and say, this is the whole purpose of raising rates, to make it more difficult to make purchases. Torsten Slot, chief economist at Apollo Global Management, told the Washington Post. The bigger question is when the Fed will have succeeded in slowing down the broader economy, and how many consumers have to be impacted in a negative way during that process, the economist adds. Now, another red flag is that shoppers are turning to buy now, pay later services to be able to make ends meet. Usage surged 40% in the first two quarters of 2023, according to data from Adobe Analytics. People don't like going into default or delinquency with credit cards. It makes a lot of people feel very nervous and unhappy, outlines Neil Saunders, the managing director for retail at the analytics company Global Data. This shows how much some consumers are under pressure, and it's just one of the cracks that are appearing in the consumer economy. In addition to soaring interest rates and student loan repayments, consumers are likely to rack up even more debt due to higher energy and electricity bills in the fall and winter as the cold weather kicks in and the cost of heating homes ratchets up. And that is before you even factor in the general cost of the holidays, which no one really wants to scrimp on, Saunders continues. So I think there are some real pressures building there for the consumer. One way you can avoid ballooning credit card debt is by seeking installment payment plans offered by some credit card companies. For example, Chase, American Express, and Citi provide an option to convert credit card transactions to a lower interest rate and payment plan after a purchase. Unfortunately, very few consumers use these services or are even aware they are available. The CMSPI survey found usage ranged from 9% to 23%, with financially healthy but overextended cardholders among those using these plans the most. Financial experts advise people to look up these payment plan services as a way not to pay double-digit interest rates on what they owe. At the end of the day, the credit card crisis is symptomatic of the tough decisions that struggling American households are having to make in 2023. People are having to choose between paying their credit card bills, their rent, or buying groceries. And the fee hikes that will come into effect less than 4 weeks from now are going to financially hurt many families out there. The credit card crisis will force many parents to explain to their kids why they won't be able to afford Christmas presents this year. It's going to leave younger adults at heightened risk of experiencing financial insecurity and bring about even more uncertainty to this country. It looks like we're going to have a downbeat holiday season for consumer spending, and the repercussions of it will ripple through the economy for much longer than policymakers and the government are telling the public.
Yeah, we're in a heap of trouble. Again, and I'll send this to me right back up. You'll own nothing and be happy about it. This is all done by design people. They're doing this purposely. I've mentioned this many times before, and I'm going to keep doing it until I'm off the air here. But they want to eliminate, kill, eradicate 6 to 7 billion people on this planet. Now, if you think about it right now, Washington, Oregon, California are distributing drugs, feces all over the place, needles, people laying on the ground, don't know where they're at, and cops can't do a thing about it. They're dying like flies, where the coroner doesn't even have places for their bodies. They don't know what to do anymore. People are dying left and right. Why is this? They're allowing illegals to come in here illegally. These illegals, some of them are killing people purposely. We're getting the bad people coming from jail, crazy houses, and they're coming over here in America. This wasn't in our Constitution. This is why I keep saying we don't have a Constitution. It's whatever the government wants to do. Government is a business run entity. It relies on people's money to survive. And we, as slaves, are giving them the money and supporting them. And in return for the gracious of our money, they're putting us under tyranny. Authoritarians, they are. And slowly they're chipping away our freedoms, and they're doing it purposely. Now, this credit card couldn't have came in a worse time, and that's why they did it for. These poor kids that think they're just Santa Claus, which are going to have to find out there isn't any, and they're not going to get any gifts, are going to be hurt. Parents right now are living on the streets, or if a car is paid for, they live on their car with kids. But yet we give illegals free room, board, education, health care, and we're paying for the health care. We're paying for everything for them instead of helping us Americans. My parents told me a long time ago, charity begins at home. Once you get done with charity in your home, you can afford everything else, help others. Other than that, don't help anybody until you're done with your family. Make sure they're okay. Government doesn't want that. They want pure chaos. Now, I was lucky to have a dad that told me, do not buy anything on credit unless you really have to. You might see somebody have a beautiful car, save your money, buy it, cash. And I did. I don't owe anybody anything other than my taxes. And that I'm going to get rid of eventually. If I can move out of here, which I'm hoping I'm going to do, there's a way of doing it. And I'm going to do it. Now, when I was in the military, and let's give you a good idea, they didn't feed us for 3 days purposely. We were out there in the woods. And we did night maneuvers and day maneuvers, and we were starving, eating. Oh man, I could eat my leg off. We were, just working it off. When that third day come for lunchtime, we ate like a horse. And normally, what they do, you have 5 minutes to eat, and they tell you to go back in line. They left us alone until we were done eating. That's how hungry we were. Starvation is the worst thing in the world. Your belly swells. You start losing mass. Your muscles, your eyesight start going away. It's terrible. It's the worst thing you ever want to see in your life. These people are not going to take this, and what's going to happen is they're going to have chaos in the streets. All of us are. They're going to break in your homes, break in your cars, and I'm not just talking about the poor section, the middle class and the rich. And they know this. This is what they want. They want total chaos. This way, they can come in with martial law and have everybody inside their homes go anywhere. This is the government that's doing this stuff purposely to manipulate you with fear and to be scared. Think about it. Why is all this stuff happening all at one time? To put fear in us. You divide this country, this nation will fall. And that's exactly what they want. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're dividing this country of ours, this nation. And it's going to fall. You haven't seen nothing yet. You think The Purge is something on a movie? That's baby shit compared to what's going to happen to us. I mean, reality sets in. When you see this stuff, you're going to freak out. You're not going to believe it. It's going to be, you would not, oh my God. And for the first video, for the people who missed it, child trafficking is what they're talking about. And they found a trafficking camp in America, and they got more around here someplace. And the government knew about this. Our government knew about this. And the elites are paying for these kids for their own pleasure. Sick, dirty, rotten, demented people we have in government. Now, I left a link in my description. You'll see it. When you go down, I'll open it up so you guys can look at the child trafficking. What a sick bunch of people we have. So it's up to you people what you want to do. There is a way out. And I've said this before. Go to Mother Nature. Our forefathers did it. We can do it too. We just got to learn how to do it. They didn't teach that in school. All they taught us was to be good little worker bees, listen to authority, and obey. And if you work hard, you'll have a good retirement. Well, they lied to us. Well, they can try to take your Constitution away, your Second Amendment, your First Amendment, your Fourth Amendment, your Fifth Amendment. There's something wrong. And it's written right on the Constitution. If they really thought about that Constitution, they wouldn't even play around with it. But it's their rules, their game, and we're involved in it. If you want to get out of this government rules, you have to get off the grid. That's the only way you can do it. Hide. There's other people doing it right now and living well. You just got to know how to do it. It's not going to be easy at first, but it's going to be enjoyable in a way because you can work in your own hours. You'll have fresh air. And if you do a garden, organic garden, you'll live a lot longer. It's amazing what you can do. We did it in the military. Didn't feed us all, but we still ate. Anyway, that's just about it, everybody. I just thought I'd come out of here. Check that link for child trafficking that they found a camp in Texas in the USA. And tell me the government didn't know about it. Wait till you hear this. This is going to make you so sick it's unreal. And you tell me you can trust your government. If you can trust your government after that, God have pity on you because you deserve to get screwed. And I'm not going to feel a bit sorry for anybody. Once I leave this is it. I'm done. I'm shutting everything off of when I can, and that's it. No more. All right, everybody, I'm taking off. Do appreciate it. Good luck to you. Really, seriously, you're going to need it. Go to my link. I'll leave it open right now so you can see it, and you tell me what's going on later on. Everybody, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Rights for Vets, we're out. See you in a while there, Bobby Crush.